And yeah, good evening, Venkat, Dhaneshwar, Gagan. I'm good. Ganesh, Mahesh, Mohammed, Shakil Ahmed, Nagendra, Gagan Kumar. Yes, Sumit, Rahul, Satish, Vinay Kumar, Vinod Shirole, Vipin Yadav, Vivek Jagtap, Vivek Sharma, Vinay Kumar. Yeah, Selvia, Venkat, I'm good. Yeah, how are you? I hope everything is going good. Okay, so we are back with another day, like again, day 13, like for 13, for every day, at 10 p.m. we do this small bite-sized learning so that you also learn in a structured way. And that's like, if you learn this in a structured way, that's the way to learn, right? And that's how you can learn things in a better and structured way. Great. So what we're going to focus today. Today we'll focus on one and the new clause for IATF, that is clause number 8515. That is something we are going to focus upon. Okay. Yes. So let me share my screen with you. I'll be sharing my screen with you. You're right. Okay. Okay, so today we'll be sharing, right, about TPM. So let's get started. If you see like 8515, which is a clause of IATF 16949, it talks about total productive maintenance. So when you say total productive maintenance, don't get confused. When you say TPM, it does not mean like there's a TPM even in Japanese TPM, like JIPM, Japanese Institute of Plant Maintenance. It's not talking about that. So this TPM is basically talking about TPM, which is with respect to maintenance. So here, like, if it talks about TPM, so don't think that what is this TPM all about. So TPM, it is focusing upon basically, this TPM is focusing upon maintenance. So here in this TPM, it's focusing on maintenance. Okay, so I hope you understand. Okay, so one thing which will be in our mind, so what's the requirement of this? So let's see what's the requirement of this clause which talks about maintenance. The organization shall, mandatory requirement, okay, develop, implement, and maintain. So documented total productive maintenance system. So here, if you see like the word documented is written. So yes, as the word documented is written, then definitely like it is expected that this need to be documented. So you need to have documented total productive maintenance. Okay, that is something which is expected. At a minimum, now shall include. So at a minimum, that's a mandatory requirement. What you need to include? Identification of what? Process equipment necessary to produce conformity of product at required volume. So what is required? So if you see that what is required is that you identify the process equipment and also make sure that the required volume is also mentioned. So what does it mean? That means which documentation is required. Here you need master list of equipment, master list of equipment. So master list of machines are required. And that too, in the master list of machine, you also mention like their make, you also mention about their capacity, right? Is it what ton of, let's say, press, you write that capacity. So here, that's the meaning of required volume. So when it's a required volume, that's the meaning. Okay, availability of replacement parts. So when it says availability of replacement parts, for the equipment identified. That means what you need is basically the spare part monitoring. Okay, so when it says, so you need to have the spare parts monitoring system. You see, we are reading one by one spare part monitoring, or you can at least monitor this critical spare part. Okay, that minimum, maximum order quantity. Provision of resource for machine equipment and facility maintenance. So where basically here you need the resources. Packaging and preservation of equipment, tooling and gauging. What does it mean? That whatsoever, like you might have this equipment and the spare parts, those spare parts needs to be identified. And not only those needs to be identified, you also need to make sure that how do you know that those are okay or not okay parts? So you can use some system wherein you can identify that these spare parts are okay, these spare parts are not okay, and it should be properly identified, because you may think that it might be available in your spare part, but that might not be okay. At the time when you need that, you may think it's there in our spare part, but that might not be in working condition. This is very important. And any applicable customer specific requirement. If there are any specific requirements regarding customer, then you take that. If not, then it's totally okay. What else? F. Documented maintenance objective. Hey, you need documented maintenance objective. That means maintenance objectives need to be identified. When it says documented, that has to be documented, right? What's your objective? That need to be identified. And OEE, so you need to find out this. MTBF, mean time between failure. MTTR, mean time to repair. So you need to be aware, like what's the formulas of this? Mean how to calculate mean time between failure, how to calculate mean time to repair. If you see in our, like we do have a paid training program, we do have a community, we do have a training course. If you go to www.submastery.com, you'll find all this in editable templates also with the clause explanation with the editable templates, right? So you need to find out the MTTR, MTBF, and not only that, you need to identify PM schedule. What is your preventive maintenance schedule? And most important, this also acts as an input to management review. In the management review, you need to put this as an agenda. Like what's the data monitoring, what's the breakdown hours, what is MTTR, mean time to repair, what is mean time between failure, all the data need to be represented. Maintenance plan and objectives and documented action plan to address corrective action where objectives are not met. So wherever you are not meeting objectives, you need to submit the action plan. And most important, that here you also need to like have this breakdown slip, some information system. You can have breakdown summary, right? And then you will have the YY analysis, right? YY analysis, wherein if you identify that if breakdown hours is greater than, let's say 5 hours or 10 hours, whatever you identify, then you need to have this YY analysis. And then you have this preventive maintenance method, predictive maintenance method, and predict overall. So what's the difference between preventive and predictive? So if you say preventive is more like a time-based maintenance. So at a frequency, let's say some oil need to be changed, some filter need to be changed, you change that. That's what we say preventive maintenance method. You do not take risk. So preventive is more like time-based maintenance. So when you say predictive, so predictive is more like need higher level of competence. So predictive is more like CBM. What is the CBM? Condition-based maintenance. So difference between, right, time-based maintenance and condition-based maintenance is this. In time-based maintenance, at fixed frequency, you'll be changing certain parts and spare parts. In the condition-based maintenance, you look at the condition. You will hear the sound. You will might do some testing, and you will touch, feel, and then you will say that okay, this can run for more period of time, and it's a risky thing, right? You may do some vibration analysis, some current measurement can be done, and then you can say that this has life. Maintenance, obviously, it is more beneficial when it comes to costing part, because you will take full advantage of spare parts. But on the other hand, if you make wrong prediction, if you do not make right prediction, then that may result into a big failure. So the predictive maintenance, where you look at the condition and then you determine that yes, we can have furthermore life of this particular spare part, is surely something which require higher level of competence. you can definitely make the predictive maintenance and preventive maintenance schedule. And then there is one new term. Let me rub this. Periodic overhaul. So what is periodic overhaul? So periodic overhaul is a new term which was not there previously in the TS. So what is periodic overhaul? So periodic overhaul is basically a maintenance methodology. So when it's a maintenance methodology, that means a way to a technology, a method, a maintenance methodology in which you study machine interruption history. Machine interruption history is basically you study machine history card, and then you decide to make a overall plan. Then decide to make a overall plan. So what is this? Like it's divided into three parts. How you can understand this? So periodic overhaul, it's a maintenance methodology in which you study machine interruption history, and then you make the overall plan. Let me give an example. Let's say you identify that you have 10 different CNC machine, and you find it out of those 10, two CNC machines are there's a breakdown repeatedly, and because of that pump issue, and then you find, okay, this interruption history, I can see that this pump assembly is creating a lot of issue, and then you can decide that we'll do overhaul for this pump assembly. So what is overhaul? Overhaul is basically when you take out the sub-assembly or components or spare part out of service and repair that, clean that, and then put back into service. That's the meaning of overhaul. So what's the advantage of this? The advantage is that you may catch the repeated breakdown. You'll be able to do better analysis, and people earlier were not focusing upon like maintenance guy. Like now it's compulsory that they need to focus on the machine interruption history. Machine history card they need to focus upon, right? And then based on that, they will make the overall planning. So periodic overhaul is a new concept wherein you understand this in a C structured way. Like how you can understand this. It's a maintenance methodology in which study the machine interruption history, that means machine history card, and find out repeated failures, and then based on that you make the overhaul plan. If you think that there is no overall plan required, you can simply mention that there's no overall plan required. Okay, so these are some of the mandatory documentation which is required in maintenance. So if you see that this clause strengthens the requirement of proactive maintenance, this basically clause talks about the spare part availability. This clause talks about the periodic overhaul, and like documenting of maintenance objective, because it's very, very important, right? Because if maintenance objectives are not met, if there's a breakdown hours, then this can directly result into a loss of production. Yes, you need multiple documentation. Some of this documentation will be machine history study plan for periodic overhaul plan. Other than that, definitely your critical spare part monitoring, master list of machine, preventive maintenance plan, preventive maintenance check sheet, periodic maintenance plan, periodic maintenance check sheet, your MIS, management information system records, all that stuff will be required. So you make sure that you have this documented process of maintenance, have the relevant format, and make sure that trends and MIS is identified. So this is what you need to do in maintenance clause. So 8515 is a clause which is dedicated for maintenance. So don't mistake this TPM as Japan Institute of Plant Maintenance TPM. There's 8 pillars. That is a separate chapter. These are separate chapters. Here in this clause number 8515 talks about maintenance related to maintenance. Okay, related to maintenance only. Okay, so let us also look at a quick example. I'll show you the example not for all types of all formats, but I'll show you basically a periodic overhaul because it's a new requirement and many people get confused in that. So that's the reason I'll show you the format and example for periodic overhaul. Okay, so let me pull this up and I'll show you. Yes, we do like have this case studies and activities wherein we have all these key activities in our internal auditor training program, right? And we learn this with clauses in detail so that we get better understanding. In the beginning, like Many organizations, were getting the non-conformity in this particular clause. There are many organizations were getting, non-conformity in this particular clause. So I'm opening this sheet, and then I will show you an example of periodic overhaul. Yeah, this is a new requirement which is there in IATF 16949. This requirement was not there in TS 16949. If you see, this requirement was not there in TS 16949. This requirement is newly added in IATF 16949. Why this is added? So that the organization can focus on the study of interruption history. The advantage is that now the organization need to focus and study machine interruption history. They need to compulsory, study machine interruption history. Okay. Right. So let me share this. So what is machine history card study plan for periodic overall? So what you did, you basically studying the machine interruption history for periodic overall. Here you can mention machine category, need not to mention each and every machine. And here you identify that frequency at what frequency, let's say in the month of June. You study this press shop and you found that there is no need for overhaul. There is nothing like which is a repeated kind of thing. You simply mention no overhaul required. That's it. That's not mandatory. But here in CNC, you say refer periodic overhaul of pump assembly. So here you find that yes, there is a scope of periodic overhaul. So this is a machine. This will give you a proof that you have studied interruption history. You have studied machine history card. And what's the advantage of studying machine interruption history? Machine history card is that you'll get to know repeated failures. Now let's say that you have studied and you identified that yes, this CNC machine, you need this overall of pump assembly. Now, which pump? You find out, this is a periodic overall plan. You say that I need to do overall of 3 machines, CNC1, CNC2, of pump assembly, because they are getting repeatedly failed or some issues are coming up. In the month of July, you plan that. And then you can have this check sheet, although you may or may not have fixed check sheet. You may use preventive maintenance check sheet. You may use your own points. You may use some log to write what you did, what activity you carried out in that overall. And maybe in coming time, like what can happen, if that's a regular activity, then that can become part of your preventive maintenance. So periodic overall outcome could be, this can become part of your regular maintenance, right? Or you can carry out this way, like you carry out the periodic overall planning, study the machine interruption history, based on repeated failure, you make the overall plan. And then definitely the next thing auditor will expect is, where is the check sheet? So you must say you may or may not have check sheet, but at least you can make sure that you write down what activities you did. That is something which you can mention in the periodic overall report. Okay, that is something you can do. So I hope you got an understanding how this need to be carried out. And these two are like formats which I have made from my own mind, and there's multiple companies. This has been audited, and until now I haven't got any improvement point, and this has been acceptable to auditors. So I hope you enjoyed this learning about clause number 8515, which is all about periodic overhaul. Yeah, if you want, I can also show you quickly the MTTR, MTBF. Yes, this is sometimes might get very confusing. Okay, so I'll tell you the simpler version. There are multiple iteration, multiple variation of this particular format, and it can be carried out in multiple ways, but I'll show you the simpler way, right? Again, as I said, that there could be multiple ways. So what is this MTTR? MTTR is mean time to repair. The formula for MTTR is simply you find out that what is the total breakdown hours in a month, divide by total frequency of breakdown. How many breakdown has happened, that is basically your MTTR, mean time to repair. So what do you want? You want mean time to repair, MTTR to reduce, right? That means if something you are like repairing in 1 hour, you definitely want that to be reduced to 30 minutes. Let's say in a month, and I'm just giving an example, in a month there are 40 hours of breakdown, and there are 4 breakdown. That means each breakdown is of 10 hours. So what do you want? This repairing time should go down. So let's say that you in the total breakdown time is reduced to you have total breakdown of, you reduce that, right, to let's say 20. So that means that you will reduce that to 5 hours. You reduce that to 10, right? You reduce to 4, right? And sorry, 2.5, right? And then you reduce that to, let's say, 4 hours, you reduce that to 1. So either you can, make sure that the total repair time, total breakdown hours is reduced. Like that's how you can do, or you can even reduce the total number of frequency, right? Let's say the frequency you, let's say it's 10, okay, and then you have this 20. So it means each breakdown is rendered within 30 minutes, right? This also you can do. So the whole idea is mean time to repair need to be reduced. Now, what is MTBF? Mean time between failures. Mean time between failure is like you want this distance between two failure, mean time between failure. MTBF, right, is to increase. For example, when one failure is happening, the other failure should happen at large interval. You want, yeah, like for example, very easy example I'll give you. You don't want to fall ill. You do not want to fall ill. Even if let's say you get ill, you want that the frequency of falling ill or getting fever should be large. That's every 6 months, every 1 year, every 2 years. You say it's okay. Every 1 year I get once I get every 2 year, every year I get a fever, it's okay. But every month you are getting fever, every month you are not feeling well, it's bad. So mean time between failure, you want to increase the frequency between failure. For that, the formula is like uptime. What is uptime? You find out that divide by frequency, how many times the breakdown is happening, and that's also you will find out the frequency, right? Yes, that's how also you will find out the mean time between failure. Like so here, like this is basically a formula sheet which has been used, right? And this can be easily used to find out that. So all these templates is available in our paid program, and you definitely check out in the description or somewhere in maybe go to simply www.submaster.com. You'll be able to look at our paid training program. It's a affordable training program, and I will be happy. You just consider be a part of our community. So I hope you enjoyed this. I do share this with your friends. Like this if you're watching in Facebook or WhatsApp, or not in WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp. How can you like? Yeah, WhatsApp you can share. You can share in WhatsApp, but YouTube you can like. Facebook you can like. You can share with your friend. Well, sharing is caring, and share that in your official WhatsApp group so the people understand about periodic overhaul. People understand about maintenance clause, right? So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks a lot. Okay, so friends, any question, please feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer. Yes, thank you. Yeah, if any question, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Yes, it is necessary that even if you don't have any periodic overhaul scope, still you fill up that sheet. Which one? This machine interruption history for periodic overhaul. That study at least you should do. That study at least you need to do. Yeah. Yeah. From tomorrow, we are planning to start the Six Sigma session. That will be a short duration session. Yeah. So thank you very much, friends. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. Yeah, we already covered Nagendra. Avinash Bharti, thank you very much. Is M calculated for one type of failure or variety of failure? MT and meantime is calculated for all type of failure, all type of failure, all type of breakdown. Yes, Ullas, all type of breakdown. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks. So, did you enjoy this? If you enjoyed this short program. Tomorrow also we'll be doing, but tomorrow we'll be doing short duration program. And we are planning to for Six Sigma. And we have also launched Six Sigma program. How many of you are aware about that? We opened up for Six Sigma training, like from this month, 27th, we are starting a new batch of Six Sigma Lean Combo live instructor training by Coach Ashish Sir. He's a master black belt. He's already conducted one batch with us. A new batch is going to conduct starting from 27th. Yeah, we've shared in the WhatsApp group, and if you're considering, do become part of that, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Venkat. Thanks, Selvia. Thanks, Janeshwar. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kapil. Thanks, everyone. Mohammed, Nagendra, Satish, Salva, Shilpa, Vicky, Vinay, yeah, Vinod. Good night. Take care. This recording we'll update in next 2 days, 2 to 3 days in 30-day challenge. Good night, everyone. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.